Hi guys, it's Lena. Today I'm going to show you my kind of daily makeup routine if I decide to wear makeup. I don't usually wear makeup when I'm going from class to class just because I try to sleep in as late as possible, and I've been really trying to work on my skin, and just wearing foundation and concealer like that really makes my skin break out. So here is my very light makeup look that I like to do just to give me a little bit of a healthier glow, cover up those bags, accentuate the eyes, all of that jazz. So yeah, I'm going to show you what I do for that. So I've already started off and done the whole face wash, tone and moisturize routine before this. I like to use the Cetaphil Pro Oily Skin Kit, so I use the cleanser and the moisturizer. They're really good if you have really oily skin that gets like super slick throughout the day, and it doesn't dry out your skin either. And the moisturizer is really great because it has an SPF of 30, so that is super great for preventing any sun damage on your skin day to day. And then to tone, I just use witch hazel that I got from Walmart. I learned the trick from my mom. It's pretty gentle. I use that, and then sometimes if my acne is getting a little bit worse, or I know that I'm super stressed out, so I'm probably going to break out, I use a stronger toner that's just a Neutrogena one, but that one stings a little bit and dries out my skin, so I tend to just stick to witch hazel. So now that I have washed my face and prepped it, I'm going to get ready to do my makeup. Okay, so now that I have all of my makeup and everything gathered, the first thing I like to do is start with my eyebrows. I generally have pretty thick eyebrows, but just sometimes giving it a little bit of definition. We all like to have our brows on fleek, so I'm just going to start with doing that. I like to use the Milani, like brunette brow color pot thingy, and then I use it with the brush that I came for. Most of my stuff I got from Walmart because I don't have that much money. So yeah, it works really well. If it's in the summer, my brows get a lot lighter because my hair's in between brown and blonde, so it gets lighter. Then I just use this like lighter eyeliner pencil, but I'm gonna do my brows real quick and then I will be back. Okay, so now I've filled in my brows, so I'm just going to set them with this clear mascara. It's the Maybelline Great Lash mascara. So I just like to do this because my brows like to get messed up really easily, and if they're not pushed up and they're in place, then I'm going to look like I have like crazy Grinch eyebrows, and then I just look really weird. So especially on my ends here, you can see how much they can move like really easily. I don't want my eyebrows looking like this when I'm walking around all day, so I just use this to set them in place. So now that I've got my brows done, what I normally do next is I go on to concealer. I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape concealer in 22N Neutral. It is a little bit more expensive, but I have really delicate skin underneath my eyes that dries out really easily, and I tend to get really dark bags, and that is something that I just like mainly want to cover up because I don't do full foundation every day. So this concealer works super well, and you don't have to use a lot of it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to dot it in like a little triangle like this, and then put a dash across my eyelid. So with these higher, like more fancier concealers, a little bit goes a long way, so it's really nice. And then I have my little beauty blender that I like to use, and a trick that I like to use is I have a setting spray that I use, and I wet my beauty blender with the setting spray, because like obviously a damp beauty blender works better for blending products out, and I've just noticed that if I use a setting spray, then then it will stay a lot better and it doesn't crease as much. So I'm just going to blend that out. And I don't really like set my brows with concealer just because I don't fill them in super aggressively. So I'll just sweep up with this beauty blender, since it does have an angle point, and do that. Just like that. Just gives you a base, covers up some of those darker spots. So I'm just going to put a tad more in the inner corners just because that's super dark for me and I need that extra cover. So do that. Blend it out. You want to make sure there's not like a harsh line going from under your eye to your cheekbone, especially if you're not going to be wearing full foundation. That way it doesn't look kind of weird. I like to go across my nose, just get this area right here in between my brows with it too. So I've got that set. Now I have the concealer set, so some days if I want a little bit more coverage because I have a lot of redness around here, I will use a CC cream. So it's a color correcting and like kind of coverage cream that also has a hydrating serum in it. I got this in my Ipsy bag, so it's sample size, so it's not super big. This is from IT Cosmetics in the shade Light, very descriptive. So I'll just put like a little bit on the back of my hand and then dot it around my face in areas where I want a little bit more coverage, but my concealer would be too heavy and be bad for my skin in that area. So I'll dot it around like that. Down my nose. And I'm kind of hard to buy foundation and stuff for, so you'll notice that it might not match me perfectly. That's pretty normal. I have a weird like neutral undertone, and most makeup likes to go either warm or cool, and so it might be a little pinky for me. I like the CC cream a lot though because like I can blend it out super easily, and it doesn't feel super heavy or gross on my skin, and yeah, so it's not as heavy as a foundation. So I'm gonna use this foundation brush first just to spread it out a bit. Yeah, it's just like a generic kind of blending brush, so I'll use that first and just spread it out a bit more. And then I'll use a beauty blender later kind of to finish out any lines. You want to make sure you bring it all the way down your neck, especially since right now this is a little bit dark for me. My tan is wearing off from the summer. I was pretty dark from working at the summer camp because I was outside 24/7. So also it's hard because I have certain areas like my forehead where my skin was a lot darker just from standing in the sun all the time, and then other areas where my skin is a lot lighter. So this will just even it out, cover up some of that acne for me. You want to make sure you're blending it all the way in. Try not to get it all over your lips. But yeah, blend it down through your neck. So it still allows my skin kind of to show through a little bit, but it also evens out the tone. You can't see as much of the redness. I had a lot of redness down here on my chin or on my nose. That really covers that up. So yeah. And now I'm just going to go through with my beauty blender a little bit. It's damp, and sometimes I actually like this a bit because it soaks up a bit of the product so that it's not so, it doesn't look too cakey. I don't have any problem with cake face. Like, I appreciate it, but that's just not really my style. I still like to look a little bit more natural, and yeah, like I'm not wearing as much makeup just because when I try to do the cake face, it doesn't go well for me, so the less makeup it looks like I'm wearing, the better it normally turns out. Okay, so that's pretty good. So now that I have that, I have my brows and my face done, I'm going to go on to my eyes. With that one, it's a pretty simple eyeshadow look, nothing too complex. So I'm going to be using the Morphe Fall Into Frost palette. I got it for my birthday from a friend. It's super, super pretty. I just like to use like these mattes down here a lot, and then I'll use like one of these champagne colors on the top, so I'll show you which different shades I'm using when I use them. So I'm going to start by just kind of buffing into my crease and above the crease with this lighter peach color. It's super nice for just adding some definition later to blend into it. So I'm going to take a giant fluffy brush and do that real quick. Also, since this is a higher level palette, it's not like super expensive. It was like $25, but still it's like a little bit nicer quality than drugstore. You don't have to get a whole bunch of product on your brush. A little bit goes a long way. So I'm just gonna start blending that into my crease, add a little bit of definition. Make sure you're doing circular and you're getting it all the way across. And see how I'm not going directly into my crease? I'm gonna press up and go a little bit onto my brow bone, just because I'll be adding another color later in for a little bit darker of definition, and I don't want it all to get muddled in the crease. This is more of a transition shade that I'll be using. But yeah, just gonna blend that, and then I'll do the other eye. I know I'm probably making a really weird face, but this is what I have to do to see what I'm doing and also get one eye in. Also, another tip that I like to use that I've learned from me watching a ton of makeup videos is wherever you're planning on like the lighting that you're going to be in for your makeup, do that. I like to sit in front of my window, which is what I'm doing right now, just because like the natural light shows really well if you have any super harsh colors on your face, and will really kind of call you out on that. So yeah. Okay. So sometimes making sure my eyes are even is a little bit hard, just because this eye, the brow shape is much lower than this one. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a little asymmetrical, so it'll show up darker right here than it will here, so I just have to add a little bit more color, and then later when I'm blending in my crease with a darker color, I'll just have to pull that up a little bit more. But it's nothing you can't get around. So yeah, you just really want to blend this out really well, blend it up into your brow, get that done. My brushes, they're gonna look like a whole bunch of different colors and shapes and sizes. It's a collection of getting brushes from different palettes, and the brush came with it, different random drugstore ones, like this Eco Tools one that's double-sided that I use, and then these black ones, and then this one I got from Shein. I know people normally think of it as a clothing shop, but I was kind of bored and looking through their accessories, and you can buy like a 20-piece brush set for only $7. So if you're someone that doesn't really care that much about super high quality, but you just want to be able to have all the different brush shapes to do cool eye makeup looks, I highly recommend it. It seems like just as good as drugstore quality. Like, they're holding up well, the hairs are not falling out at all, and they're really cute, and the different sizes are amazing because they can help me do like better blended out looks. So I really like it. I would highly suggest it if you want to add more brushes and brush shapes and sizes to your makeup tools, but you don't have a lot of money. Shein is the way to go. Okay, so now that I've using that peach color, which, let me see what it's called. It is called Bliss. I'm going to go in with a little bit darker color that's in the same palette called Illusion, and just darken up that crease. I don't know if you saw that right here, that one. So I will do that. A big thing that I want to make sure I'm doing is like not make it too dramatic. I still want it to look a little bit natural. I'm just kind of accentuating the contours of my natural face and my eye. So I'm going to go in with a smaller fluffy brush, and I'm just going to put a little bit of product right here in the corner, like that. And just kind of tap it into the crease where I want it. And then I'll do that on the other side before I'm blending it out. Like that. Remember, a little bit of product goes a long way, so you can always add in more. You cannot take it off. Okay, so now I have that there. Yep. And then I'm going to go in with a big fluffy brush that I used at the beginning to do the peachy tone. A trick that I've learned is you want to apply your eyeshadows, if you're applying different colors and you're blending them with one brush, and blend with another, because if you're applying like with a black and you want to blend all the way up here, you're going to pull the black all the way up your eye if you're using the same brush. So if you use a different brush that's clean, then you can blend the two colors together and you don't have to worry too much about residue on the brush pulling the wrong colors up. So I'm just going to go through and blend this again. This time I'm going to focus a bit more on the crease. kind of go back and forth to pull it all the way in, and then also do like little circles to make sure there's no harsh line. I really like to blend it so it looks like there's almost nothing there, so it's just a smooth gradient. So yeah, now that I have that, I am going to just use a nice warm champagne color. So depending on how obvious you want it to be, I think I'm just going to use like this one, this kind of neutral one in between that's a little less bright, and just use that one on the lid of my eye to add a little pop. So I'm just applying with my finger. I just like to use this. It's more precise for me, and that's just what I've always done. So I'm gonna do that. You gotta have to tap and pull it across like that. So this will be subtle enough that like it doesn't look like you're wearing a full face of makeup and a full like super complex smoky eye kind of jazz, but you'll still have a little bit of pop by your eyes. Put a little bit more here. And then I just like to make sure right here in the corner of my eyes there's no like harsh lines. You know, really make sure it's all blended out nicely. And then I'm gonna take a nice super light color, the which one is it? Visible on it. That's the really, really bright one. And I'm going to go in with a small brush and I'm going to spray a little bit of this on it so it sits better. And I'm going to put that in the corner of my eye just to make them pop a bit. Just like that. And then if you want, you can brush a little bit underneath your brow like this for a highlight kind of thing going on. Depends on how bold you want to be. So I'm going a little bit bolder now with this, with the underbrow highlight. But if there's too much like sparkle with it, you can just not do the sparkly or glimmery lid color and just find like a neutral base color, or you could do like a cut crease with the concealer and then it'll look a little bit more natural. So now that I've got that all set, I'm going to take I gotta find the right brush, a smaller brush just to accentuate underneath my waterline, because I have all this color on top but I don't have anything under here, and unless you have super thick eyelashes underneath, it's going to look a little bit odd if you have a whole bunch of color on top and nothing underneath. So I'm just going to take this angle brush I found real quick, take the same color that I used in my crease, a little bit darker brown shade, and I'm just going to go like this right along my waterline and just add a little bit of color. It doesn't make a humongous difference, but it does make it look less harsh if you put mascara on your lower lashes. So I'm going to do that, and then I will take this super small blending brush and get some of the peachy color I used and just kind of like blend that along. There, and I have that. So yep, sorry, I'm just adjusting my stuff down there. I have that done, and so now it's time for mascara and all of that jazz. Something I like to do is I like to use a black eyeliner and tightline my eyelashes. It just makes them look thicker, because I have like pretty good length, I'd say, but sometimes they don't look super thick. So what you do is you kind of lift up your eye and you go underneath along the base of your eyelashes. It's gonna feel weird the first time you do it, but I'm pretty used to it, so just like that. And I'm not sure if you can tell the difference. Sorry, my eye's watering, but yeah. I'll do it for this eye. Okay, so I've done that for those two eyes. You don't need to put it on your bottom eyelashes. Do not put black eyeliner on your bottom lash line unless you want to look like a goth. It will not look natural at all. It'll look bad. If you want to add a little bit of eyeliner, go in with like a very light brown eyeliner and then use a brush to blend it out, and pull it lightly into the corner of your eye, but do not go like fully all the way around. It's going to look really bad and tacky. Okay, so I'm just moving some of my stuff around. Okay, so now that I have that done, I am going to curl my eyelashes. I know it looks kind of scary, like a medieval torture device, but I swear it works really well. Especially if you have long eyelashes that are straight. See, just gonna curl this one again. But like, look at how much it opens up your face. This is without mascara, so it helps a ton. I don't use a primer. I wish I had money to buy a primer, but I don't, so I'm just gonna grab my mascara real quick. So I use the Colossal Volume Express from Maybelline. If I'm being honest, I've been using this since like 7th grade, and I just keep buying the same one over and over again. I'm sure you can use whichever mascara you like, but this one works really well for me. The brush just gives me a lot of volume, and I really like it because it gives a dramatic look. I'm just going to put that mascara on. A little bit on the lower lash line. Okay, so I have that done. I'm just going to go in and add a little bit of color to my face, so put some blush on and give a little bit of contouring. Actually, no, I'm not going to do contouring. I'm just going to do blush just because if I do contouring, it won't look as natural. So I have this Basic Beauty blush, and it's October 3rd, and it's a jelly blush. So what I like to do for my blush is I like to stick towards very natural shades if I'm going for like the light makeup look, just because then it doesn't look super harsh. So what I do is I have like this very round brush that I like to use. I spray it with a little bit of my setting spray to get it damp, and then I will get some of this blush on it. Get that product on there. I've got a good amount on it, you can see. And then, I know this is going to look stupid at first, but what I do is I smile, and I just stamp it on my eyelid, not eyelid, whoa, on my cheek like that. And then I'll go to the other one, smile, go like this. So I look like a clown. And then, what I do, I know I look really silly right now, but then what I'll do is I'll take a big beauty blender, one that I used earlier, and I just blend and I pull it across my face. Because you want to make it look like it's just a normal flush. I know this is a little bit brighter pink than like some people would use. I just like to use it. So yeah, you pull it across your face like that, where you naturally flush. And it does have a little bit of shimmer in it, so it gives you some dimension to your face. So see that versus that, it'll turn out okay. So I'm going to respray, get that nice and damp, and just, you got to kind of pull it across. I just don't like to apply with a brush, because sometimes I feel like if I do the brush, it has like the same intensity of color all the way across, and I kind of like the color to fade out along my cheekbone. So I'm just going to keep blending this one. I know it looks like I'm being super aggressive, but I swear I'm not hurting myself. Just have that. Okay. So now I have that. So I'm going to go through and just spray setting spray on my face because I have oily skin and it doesn't stay on. So I'm going to make a really weird face, but just be ready. Okay. So the setting spray just keeps like the CC cream and everything else from... Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry about that. It keeps the CC cream from kind of like running off your face, and it keeps everything nice and set. So what I'm going to do next is, I don't like to wear a ton of lipstick and stuff like that, but I do want to add a little bit of color just because I got foundation on my lips. So I have this like lip balm from e.l.f. that's just colored, and I will, oops, there we go. I'm just going to dot it like this, I know it looks really weird. And then I have a chapstick I like to use. It's just an EOS chapstick. So I'll take that. Just kind of blend it out with my finger. And then that gives me some color to my lips, and they don't look dry and gross, but they also still match my face. So after you're done with your makeup, you want to do your hair. I just had it out of my face because I have bangs and I don't need that in my way. But yeah, this is my completed makeup look. I hope you like it, and yeah, good luck!